Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
No problem.
Looking at Milton Hershey, can you just kind of walk me through some of the things that you guys were doing in the off season to prepare for this season? Where have you looked at improving?
Well, I mean, one of the things, our school a little bit different than everybody else. I mean, our kids, it's residential, so, we try to keep as many kids back that we can. But one of the things we did this year is we went to Lebanon Valley team camp this year, which we got about 43 kids to be able to go to that camp, which was, I think, a positive for us because we got to work on some things that these other teams have been working on since January and February. So I really liked that aspect. I think that's a positive step for Milton Hershey to be working on that. I think it really gave us a head start in seeing what kids we can count on, what kids we thought maybe we could, and maybe they aren't exactly who we thought they were.
Looking at first to offense, a lot of skill positions. Have transitions that break down. Maybe starting with quarterback. What are you guys looking at? Who are you looking at there, and where at the position battle?
Well, we basically have a quarterback. We have two guys there that we're looking at quarterback. We have one that's a junior. His name's Tommy Asmio. I don't know how to really pronounce his last name too well. And then the other one is a sophomore by the name of Keontae Lucas. I think those two guys will be the guys we'll be looking at quarterback-wise. Keontae also is a guy that not only at quarterback at times, but he'll also be at some running back spots or some slots for us because he's a very talented individual.
Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the attributes that they bring to the field? What are their skill sets? Are they run-based? Are they strong armed? Like, you can just break it down for us.
Yeah, for Thomas, he's more of a thrower for us. I mean, he's been in our system. He knows it. He knows the reads and everything that we're looking for. So he's a little bit more comfortable in the passing game. Whereas Keontae, I think, brings a little bit more of a quarterback that's going to be a dual threat type of quarterback that, ball in his hand, he can run, but he can also throw a little bit. So he'll give a defense a different perspective when he's in the game.
And looking at running back, you mentioned, one of your quarterbacks might spend some time there. But can you kind of break down that position for us?
Well, at running back, we do have a guy coming back that was a starter for us last name, Quasif Shabazz, and he'll only be a junior. He ended up being all-league for us this past year, so we're looking for big things for him to come back. With us being more of a spread team, we really don't have two guys in the backfield all the time. So when that one guy's back there, that's going to be usually Quasif. It's when we put two guys back there when we'll, either a Keontae or Jamari Licorice or some of these other guys that we're looking at putting back in that second back spot.
And what about at wide receiver? Obviously, Trey Brown leaves, dynamic receiver that has graduated now. What are you looking at to fill that position?
Well, we had guys in the wings last year that were behind Trey and our other seniors, Kevin Wiggins and some of the John Mayer that we had at receiver for us that were practicing and ready to step in, and they're going to do that. We got guys that we believe are ready to take those spots at Daniel Tartaglia, Alishawn Joyner, Eric Jeffers, and then we moved Keith Hunter, who played outside linebacker for us last year. We moved him over to receiver also because he gives us the explosion part of it. I mean, he's a track star, and we're hopefully that his speed and everything will help us over on the offensive side of the ball.
Looking at the offensive side of the ball, is there a playmaker that you're counting on to step up and be that dynamic, that explosive player that you can kind of carry and lean on a little bit?
I think it's going to be Quasif is the guy that we're going to lean on to start out with. We have four starters back on the offensive side of the ball. One is Quasif, and the other three are up on our offensive line. So if we're looking at stuff, its offensive line is a little bit of a strength for us along with the running back. So we're going to utilize that as we get going, that we know that Q's going to give us the running game, and those three guys up front have experience for us. One a 3-year starter, the other 2-year starter. So we're going to definitely lean on that part of the game to start out with.
Then looking at the other side of the ball, and just kind of break down some of the position battles again that are on that side of the ball.
Well, on that side, we're a little bit more comfortable for the fact we got 7 guys coming back that started for us last year. up front, we're pretty sound up front. In our front three, our first two spots, like our nose and our one defensive end, is pretty well set. We're looking for that other defensive end, since we run a 3-4 defensive tackle, whichever way you want to look at it. There we have a position battle, which we have a senior coming out for us that didn't play last year, and Al Lampley, that could really help us. And we have some guys that played last year that can fill that role too, and a Damian Lovely and a Victor Jackson Tillman. So we definitely have some areas there up front. Linebacker cores, we returned 3 guys that basically started in our 2 inside guys. Nate Hauser, Brian Aviles, Ortiz, and Xavier Pendleton. All 3 of those guys are back, and they all played significant times for us last year. So we got those 3. We might be able to move one of them outside, which now gives us getting all 3 of them on the field. Outside, we have some guys that are going to be young for us. We have a guy that Deshaun Harris, who played outside for us last year, got a little action near the end of the year, so we're counting on him to help us back there. And then back in the secondary, we have our 2 safeties are back. Both started for us last year, which is, again, it's like baseball. If you can have up the middle strong,
right,
you feel good about yourselves. We feel good. We have our linebackers in the middle back, we have our safeties in the middle back, and basically our defensive line. So we like up the middle. It's getting the guys to the outside.
Yeah. Give us maybe a name or two, both whether on the offensive side or the defensive side, names that we maybe haven't heard yet, or names that you're looking at to make a big impact and really kind of step up this year.
Well, I think on the offensive side of the ball, I think there's 2 names I think that could surface would be a Keith Hunter for us on the offensive side of the ball, and the other one is a Keontae Lucas. I think both of those guys could end up, you could be seeing their names a lot. Over in the defensive side of the ball, and Al Lampley, I think, is a kid that's going to step forward and really show some dominance in the games. And I think, as an outside backer, I think a Deshaun Harris is another kid that could step forward and make himself known this year.
What does Milton Hershey have to do to get to the playoffs this year? What has to happen for you guys, or what's the key to success for you guys?
Well, first off, the league we play in the Capital Division, I think it's a great division. The only downside of it is that we do play some single-A teams. And when you play single-A teams, you don't get as many points. So for us, an 8-2 record or better is what we have to continue to strive for every year to make playoffs, because anytime you get into that 7-3, 6-4 range, now you're looking at that power ranking and that stuff, and with us in the division that we are, it doesn't bode as well. So 8-2 is what our goal is, so that we can make the playoffs.
Great. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.